The Turtles are returning to the big screen in TMNT Mutant Mayhem, but we want to give the Turtle enemies some spotlight because they're awesome and underappreciated. So let's do this thing.
Think they are. Another little wannabe gangster trying to play hard.
What's up, my comic comrades? The new TMNT movie looks absolutely incredible, and since we're massive Turtle fans here on Team Variant, what better way to mark the occasion than with a breakdown of what we think are the 10 best TMNT villains that are not Shredder. That's correct, we're leaving them off the list because it's too obvious and everyone knows Shredder is the #1 Turtle villain. So this list is focused on every other villain in the Turtleverse. Now on to number 10. First up, we have Tiger Claw. He made his debut in the 2012 TMNT Nickelodeon series, which is highly regarded as one of their best animated shows of all time. Tiger Claw is one of the secondary antagonists from the series. He's also the brother of Halopex. Tiger Claw is an extremely skilled bounty hunter and assassin from Japan. Much like the Turtles, he's a mutant. A tiger mutant to be exact, who was experimented on by Krang. He's one of those villains you feel sympathetic for because the only reason he really became evil was because of the actions of others. Not justifying what he does, just saying he's written well enough where you can see why he's evil. So that, along with the fact that he's a mutant humanoid bounty hunter assassin, what more could you ask for? Next on our list is Rat King. There's been many different interpretations of him over the years, but the one I'm most familiar with and dig is the one from the 87 iconic TMNT series. Rat King was only a small character in the Mirage TMNT comic books, but he was a reoccurring character in the 87 animated series, being only one of a handful of characters from the original TMNT comics to transition over into the Turtles' first animated series. In the 87 series, Rat King was a homeless guy who lived in the New York City sewers, not too far from the Turtles and Master Splinter. In the episodes he was featured in, Rat King was always trying to essentially have rats take over the world, as he believed that rats were superior to any other species. It's kind of a crazy concept, but I always dug his look and loved the fact that he lived in the sewers just like the Turtles. He's had many different iterations of both the comics and animated series since then, but this is my personal favorite as it's the one I grew up with, and nostalgia is quite a drug. Next, we have Halopex, first appearing in Raphael issue 1. She is the brother of Tiger Claw. She was first introduced in the comics, but ever since the 2012 Nickelodeon Turtle series, she's become a fan favorite. She is a mutant fox to be exact, who just so happens to be one of the best ninjas on Earth, making her one of the Turtles' most fierce adversaries. In the 2012 series, we see that she is rescued by Shredder and the Foot Clan. Because of this, she would go on to serve them. What makes her even more compelling of a villain is she's Raph's ex-girlfriend, doing that whole femme fatale thing, trying to trick Raphael into revealing the location of the Turtles' lair so she and the Foot Clan could unalive all of them. And even though she works for Shredder, she kind of hates him and wants to take him out as he burned down her home. No matter how you slice it, she's one of the best and certainly most complex Turtle villains to date. Here's a question: what do Tony Stark, Reed Richards, and King T'Challa have in common? They're geniuses. But genius doesn't just happen. You gotta educate yourself, which is why I love today's sponsor, Brilliant. Whether you're a student, a professional pursuing a career, or a lifelong learner, Brilliant is a free and easy way to interactively learn more about subjects like math, data science, and computer science, all of which becomes more important by the day. With thousands of lessons from basics to advanced topics and new lessons added every month, Ray Palmer will be asking you for advice in no time. Whatever your skill level, Brilliant customizes content to fit your needs and lets you solve at your own pace. Data skills are in more demand than ever, which is why I love their new Data Analysis Fundamentals course. Within a few quick lessons, you get to analyze real data and draw interesting conclusions from it, the kind of analysis that forms the backbone of a lot of the content we share on our channel. Another thing I really dig is it helps you advance your career. Boosting your analytical skills helps you become a better problem solver at work, which makes you a greater asset. And when you level up your skills, you become a go-to person on your team. To try everything Brilliant has to offer free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/variant or click our link in the description. The first 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Again, just go to brilliant.org/variant. At lucky number 7, we have Hun, who is the leader of the Purple Dragon Gang and a super enforcer that works as one of Shredder's henchmen. The Purple Dragon Gang is one of the most prolific gangs in the TMNT universe. As for Hun, his criminal career started when he was a young kid. By the time he became a teenager, he was already a member of the Purple Dragons, and once upon a time, Hun would have the Purple Dragons burn down a store that was owned by Casey Jones' father. But if that wasn't bad enough, said arson killed Casey's father, which obviously instantly made Hun Casey's #1 rival. And since Casey Jones is essentially the 5th human member of the Turtles, Shredder was all like, hey man, come over here, be my protege, so you could help me take down the Turtles. What I'm saying is Hun is one of the TMNT's most interesting villains, and the fact that he's very closely tied to Casey Jones just makes him that much better. Next up, we have Toca and Razar. They made their debut in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Ooze. For the few of you who have not seen this film, they came into existence when Shredder forced a TGRI scientist, Jordan Perry, to use the same ooze that turned the turtles into mutants on a wolf and a snapping turtle, giving us what I think are the best villains in the live-action franchise. And the fact that they were babies made it that much better because they weren't smart at all. They were just incredibly strong, looking at Shredder as their mama. After their debut in Secret of the Ooze, they would make their way into the 7th season of the 87 Turtles animated series. The point is, they're awesome and have become a mainstay on the Turtle villain roster. At number 5, we have Karai. To put it simply, she's the granddaughter of Shredder and also the second highest ranking member of the freaking Foot Clan. In the comics, she started as a simple member of the Foot Clan, just being a foot soldier. But being the granddaughter of Shredder, she was very gifted and quickly became one of the highest ranking members of the clan, eventually leading the New York branch of the Foot. Now, what's also interesting about her is that in some interpretations of the character, she has a rivalry with TMNT leader Leonardo. She actually was in the epic 2007 TMNT animated movie, but has not only been depicted as the granddaughter of Shredder, she's also been his adopted daughter, biological daughter, Shredder's assistant, and even Splinter's biological daughter, and the love interest to Leonardo. She has a bunch of awesome interpretations, but in almost all of them, she is portrayed as the most badass female in all of TMNT. Just missing the top 3, we have the Foot Clan. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, as the Foot Clan is the ninja organization that is led by the #1 TMNT villain, Shredder. Wherever Shredder is, the Foot Clan is right next to him in droves. They're his loyal ninja assassin army who have been portrayed several different ways over the years in the countless interpretations of TMNT comics, shows, and movies. They're one of the most consistent villains in the TMNT universe, as they're basically the stormtroopers of TMNT. An interesting thing about the Foot Clan is that they were originally just a parody of the Hand, the ninja enemies of Daredevil. The Foot is all about counterfeiting, murder, assassination, computer hacking, terrorism, and basically anything bad a person can do, which is why they make for the perfect army for Shredder. Now, you knew this pair had to be on here somewhere, and that of course is Bebop and Rocksteady, the two mutant enforcers of Shredder and Krang. When you think of turtle villains, they're one of the first ones to come to mind. Bebop and Rocksteady were originally humans that were just your run-of-the-mill thugs, until Shredder recruited them as his henchmen, at which point he was like, yeah, I'm gonna test a mutant serum on you, whether you like it or not, and let's hope it works. So to make them extremely powerful, Shredder took a rhino and a wild boar from a zoo and mixed their genes with Rocksteady and Bebop's. They mutated and became pretty dang strong, but they're also not the brightest bulbs on the Christmas tree, if you know what I mean. In short, they're among the top 3 most consistent villains for the Turtles, because wherever they are, Shredder is not far behind. Coming in runner-up, we have none other than Baxter Stockman. He's an insane scientist who is responsible for his robotic creations, Mousers. Stockman, like a bunch of these higher-ranking villains, is a consistent threat for the Turtles and one of their all-around coolest and most fun, if that makes sense. Depending on what iteration you're talking about, he could be a psychopathic scientist who created killer robots, or kind of goofy and funny, but still a psycho who created killer robots. Baxter Stockman would also eventually become the Fly or Superfly, essentially being a humanoid fly, much like Jeff Goldblum. He's also one of the first villains for the Turtles, appearing in the early Mirage comic books before the Turtles became a worldwide phenomenon with shows, movies, and merchandise. What I'm saying is, you could not have a Ninja Turtle villain list without Baxter Stockman being near the top. And at number 1 on our list of the 10 best Ninja Turtle villains that are not Shredder, we have Krang. This alien is a warlord that was banished from Dimension X, and now is an adversary of the Turtles, who works alongside Shredder, but also on his own. As I briefly just said, Krang was a warlord dictator in his own dimension. In the most famous Turtles series to date, the 87 animated series, Krang's claim to fame is being the brains of the operation, quite literally. He's essentially an evil alien brain with tentacles, and because of this, he often pilots robots and other mech devices, as he's no physical threat without them, but he is most certainly one of the greatest threats the Turtles have. And as our list tells you, we think he's second only to Shredder. Krang's most iconic robot body is an overgrown baby-looking thing from the 87 series, where he resides in the stomach or torso piloting it. But this thing is extremely deadly, as it possesses super strength, lasers, and could even grow wings and fly. So as we see throughout comics, the character doesn't have to just be a threat physically to be the baddest villain on the block. Often it's the villain with brains who are the most threatening. And Krang is yet another example of just that. But there you have it, friends, the 10 characters we think are the best TMNT villains after Shredder. Let us know what villains you would put on this list, but other than that, we'll see you guys next time when we give you the history of Guy Gardner Green Lantern.